So recently in the comments of one of our videos, someone asked us if we had seen Osiris, and I went looking for it, and it looked super up my alley, not Kaylee's alley at all. So last night I threw it on, and I'm here to talk about it. Now, don't mind my cool neckwear here that Kaylee made me in her little team building class and at work. I mean, how many times have you been laid by your wife today? She tried to take it off me, but I wouldn't let her. She made it with her own little hands. Anyway, Osiris. This is about a group of soldiers while in the midst of a battle. They are taken aboard an alien spaceship, and then they have to fight their way through the spaceship to try to get back to Earth, whatever. I thought this was awesome. I love this. This is so cool. This has like a 4 point something on IMDb. Man, this is the kind of stuff that really bums me out. Yes, it's a lower budgeted film. But I don't think that holds it back that much, other than I'm used to lower budgeted movies. Now, this stars Max Martini, which, yes, that sounds like a porn name, but he's a pretty established actor I've seen in tons of shit. This also has Brianna, I think it's Brianna, right? Hildebrand, which I know from the Deadpool movies as well as Tragedy Girls. I think she's awesome. I think she's such a cool actress. And the legendary Linda Hamilton herself, which, yeah, this is 100% a film that was made by people who grew up on 80s action horror films, namely The Terminator, Aliens, and the Predator. The most obvious ones, the best ones. And it also is clearly inspired by video gamers, because some of the shots in this feel like they're out of a video game. Most notably Halo and absolutely Gears of War. The villains in this definitely remind me of The Locust. And, you know, having Linda Hamilton in there, of course, also is part of it. But the opening and kind of the setup premise feels like Predator. And then when they're on the ship and they're fighting all of these aliens, it feels like Aliens. And the fact you have Linda Hamilton in there makes it feel like partially Terminator. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all of the 80s action horror films that we loved growing up. The action is very well done. Now, I will say, unfortunately, it does become a tad repetitive of them, firing their guns down hallways at these big lumbering beasts, these hulking monstrosities, and they're using these like energy shields from Halo. And so, yeah, that can get repetitive, but I think the action's actually pretty slick. The director of this has directed quite a number of action films, and I think he absolutely knows what he's doing when it comes to lower budgeted action filmmaking. I really wish that this guy could get a budget. This is definitely someone who should be directing at least some cool Scott Adkins movies. I know that's more on the lower side of things, like lower budgeted things, but I think he has that kind of style to him. I think that the characters are, they're pretty stock generic for the most part, and Linda Hamilton's trying to do a Russian accent here. She's kind of pulling it off, kind of not, as well as Brianna Hildebrand. She's also doing a Russian accent. I think she actually does that quite well. And yeah, I mean, it's a very straightforward, lean, mean 80s action throwback. There's not a lot of depth. There is some like motivation for the characters. It's not like they're, like soulless and just kind of like NPCs or something. They definitely have, a bond. They care about each other. They have families on the outside. They really want to get out of there, want to get home. And the cool thing, I think I might have already mentioned this, but if I didn't, the villains, the the locust type looking monsters, or the predators, basically. They're practical, and there's a lot of them, and they look awesome. They have like they have some kind of like animatronics or whatever the hell in the face that makes their face muscles move and such, and they're, as I said, they're big, they're hulking, they're absolutely formidable foes. And the thing that would have amplified this movie would have been more carnage, like up close battle where they were cleaving them in half and heads were getting chopped off, and the aliens were grabbing the guys and tearing them apart. So more gore, more graphic on-screen violence would have amplified this. But that's really and just some variety to the hallway shootouts, because that does get a tad repetitious. But other than that, man, I thought that this was really, really rad. I think anybody who doesn't mind lower budgeted action films and more of a straightforward plot, that they like practical suits and action that is reminiscent of 80s style, and they are just action horror fans in general. This is a big win. I don't know why this is getting such a low rating, because I feel like the type of audience that this would appeal to would be the only ones watching this type of thing. And I don't know what they would have complaints about. Like, that kind of baffles me. This is such a cool film. So yeah, this is totally worth your time. Totally worth the VOD rental. If this sounds cool to you, at least check out a trailer. I was impressed with this one. I didn't expect much. I thought that the action and all of that stuff would be much worse than it is. It's not. It's well done. So I don't get it. I don't get the low rating, and this is definitely one of those ones that's going to be overlooked. I'll probably give this like a 4 on Letterboxd. So I was big on this one, and I would 100% own it and watch it again and show it to action horror fans as like a hidden gem. So keep your eye out for it. Definitely check it out. You can rent it right now on VOD, or if you're worried about that $7 price tag, then you can wait. I'm sure it'll be on some Prime or something soon enough. But I think it's worth your time if you're into these types of movies. So big win, very cool. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I'm absolutely stoked that I watched it, and this will be one of those films that'll end up in my year-ends list of like movies that either other people liked that it didn't, that they didn't like that I did, or this will be on the like overlooked films of 2025 that no one talked about that they should have. One of those two lists, or both. Yeah, that's that. Definitely check out a trailer at the very least, and let me know. All right, guys. Adios.